The coach. Welcome to the show. The chef is cyborg, saving sports radio. Football addicts, since they learn how to walk. Been giving 2 cents since they learn how to talk. Yo, it's me, Gray Cloud, know the voice of New York. The highs, the lows, the wins, the bosses. You ain't a damn loser if you took some losses. Put the gloves on, let's see who's the softest.
What's really good, ladies and gentlemen? We're late. And I'm not going to blame it on the only Hispanic here. It's going to be one of the white guys, and it's not Coach David. So, listen, free agency goes crazy. Before we go into it, I don't know if we're doing a Seven Dwarfs thing because I always know him as grumpy. He's now sleepy. I got beat in the building, 2 longtime Giant fans. Gentlemen, how are you before we even go into the free agency?
Everything's good.
Yeah, good. Just tired, but good.
All right.
He sounds excited, doesn't he?
Yo, I'm hyped. I'm hyped right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm
talking about Dave.
We trust shit. Oh, my bad. Yeah, he's super excited. He's fired up and ready to go. So, in Darnold we trust. Seattle Seahawks, 3 years, $100 million. Sam Darnold. Gentlemen, we'll go down position by position. Stop shaking your head. I didn't even get to finish explaining.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
I told you that's where he was going.
Right. You did. So, Vikings, they're boneheads. I'll tell you why in a minute, but we all know why. We'll go down position by position of who signs where. We'll talk some shit and keep it moving. Seattle, obviously Supersonics. The Seattle Seahawks, they go out. Geno Smith gets traded to the Raiders for a 3rd round pick. DK, we know, gets traded for a 2nd round pick. So you're like, damn. Next day, free agency starts. Sam Darnold, the biggest ticket in the game, goes to Seattle. Talk to me. In Darnold, we trust, baby. In Darnold, we trust.
Delusional as usual. He's going to go to Seattle and stink it up. Who's he doing football to? He ain't going to have the receivers he had in Minnesota.
Jackson Smith. They got. I knew you were going to say that. They got Jackson Smith, Noah Fant. They got Noah Fant. They got what's the running back?
Listen,
the running backs. They got 2 of them.
I can't wait for
Kenneth
him
Walker.
to up in
They got
Seattle,
Kenneth Walker and that Cabaret guy.
Listen, he'll be good in Seattle for one reason. They're not going to be a good team. He can't handle any pressure.
Exactly.
He saw Ghost in New York, and he died the last 2 weeks of last year. So he'll go to Seattle. There'll be a average team, and he'll be fine.
Okay, so we're going to pretend that they don't have a good defense? Are we going to pretend they don't have a good defense?
No, they have a good defense, but they're going to be an average team.
He ain't going to win games for him.
So all right, hear me out. Jackson Smith went off when DK went down, right? Just facts, right?
Right.
Not Jefferson.
Okay. He went off. Hold on. But I mean, there's only one more, and that's Jamar Chase, right? They're 1-1. So if you look, they got Jackson Smith, kid went off. Noah Fant, he's a good tight end too. I'm not saying he's a game breaker, but he's a good tight end as well. If they could go and get a few, let's just say offensive linemen, or they draft, you have a double-headed monster at running back. You have a good tight ends. They're going to draft wide receiver.
They better build up the line.
Yeah, they better.
Because
that's what I'm saying.
At least with Geno could run. Darnold's no runner.
He ain't moving.
Yeah, but Geno is not as smart as Darnold.
They both suck anyway.
Geno's a dumb quarterback with athletic talent.
All right. Darnold's a smart quarterback with no athletic talent.
Yo, why y'all always hate on Sam Darnold?
The reality is,
because you keep lifting him up to like all-star status, and he's not.
He was a Pro Bowl player last year.
And he sucked in the playoffs. As usual, the same Darno came up and
when the pressure came on, when the pressure hit, he cracked.
As usual.
All right. the whole ghost thing that y'all want to keep living on.
I don't really care about
quarterback that goes to the Jets. Listen, the Jets are a quarterback killing franchise. I'm not born in the name it that way. I'm not from the name it that way. Right? The only good quarterback, and let's keep it 100, that had a good lengthy career was probably Testaverde through my era, right?
Yeah, Ken O'Brien.
What you call was Chad Pennington was okay, but he hurt his shoulder and all like that. That ruined his career with the Jets.
Absolutely.
Not that he was a great quarterback. He was okay. What was that?
They never had nothing special.
No.
They never had nothing special. And we've seen Geno tank there. We've seen Darnold tank there. We've seen Wilson tank there. We've seen White tank. There's a list of guys who did not pan out. And Sanchez is another one.
They weren't good.
That's when you go for your career.
That's what it was. They weren't good quarterbacks. Jets are terrible at picking quarterbacks.
All right.
That's why they signed Justin
y'all hate on. So all I'm going to say in 2
I'm
years,
just saying,
maybe
Darnold is not a top flight quarterback. He's a middle of the wrong quarterback. He's that bridge quarterback type guy, that journeyman good guy quarterback.
Yep.
He is.
I don't see it. I see him taking another step.
He had one good year with Minnesota.
That's it.
Yes.
And wait, and I should correct that. He had almost a good year with Minnesota. Because there's a little part of that year that he doesn't want to look at.
Be the last game.
All right. So in a nutshell, we've seen Baker, and we'll go to the next guy after this. We've seen Baker have one good year, and then he got paid, right? So Darnold had one good year and got paid. Would you say Baker is a top 10 quarterback?
No.
Okay, I'm fair with that. As long as we're keeping the energy the same, I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Baker is a good quarterback, but nothing special.
Exactly. He don't come up big in a big game either.
Sam Darnold is the truth, and Darnold we trust. Justin Fields, I'm just saying, Justin Fields, he signed with the New York Jets, 2 years, $40 million, and I feel bad for Justin Fields. I love the weapons they have. I like the Jets on paper, but the Jets are the Jets, and that's what scares the shit out of me for Justin Fields.
The only thing they can hope for, and I don't know if that's even possible in that organization, is that he can change the culture over there. But I don't know if he's going to be able to.
I don't know if he's going to be able to change the culture. I don't know how their new offense is going to run.
I know.
If it's more of a running offense, he'll do okay with them. If it's a pass-heavy offense, I don't know how he's going to do yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to try to model it somewhat like they had in Detroit, so I would figure he'd go run heavy. I mean, Fields, the verdict's still out on him. So.
I mean, the only thing is, he was the defensive guy for Detroit, not the offense.
I know.
And Detroit had two great running backs.
Exactly. They did.
Yeah, it's hard for teams to model that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying maybe he gets one good back and then build off that.
Seattle has two legit running backs, and y'all want to shit on them.
They don't have the line. They don't have the line. They don't have the quarterback. Do we got to go back to? Do you got to rewind to the beginning of the show?
Who Detroit got as a quarterback? Who's Detroit's quarterback?
I'd take Goff over. I would take Goff over Darnold in a minute.
Fuck out of here.
In a second.
Listen, Goff got to the Super Bowl.
In a second.
On an ill defense.
I'm just saying he got to a Super Bowl. I'm not saying he's great, but he's better than Darnold, that's for sure. He's done more than Darnold. You can't say that. He's done more than Darnold.
Because he's been a bench guy. He's been a bench guy because he was a Jet.
He sucked. He was overrated in USC, and you know it. You could say all this, but you know he was overrated in USC. Because
Yeah,
we had this conversation about USC.
yeah. I'd love to go back to your things going back at the beginning, seeing how he was coming out of college. You were probably like, "Oh, suck for Sam." No, you mean Sam sucks.
Yeah, no. He
I ain't
knows
gonna lie.
we've had this
So, all
conversation.
right, in that draft, I buried him. I ain't gonna lie, I did bury him. But it is what it is. What I do think that if I'm not calling Justin Fields Michael Vick or nothing like that, right? But
No,
with Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and they have a decent line, they don't have a great line. Like, I would love for them to go for a Cooper Kupp as well, give this guy as many weapons as they can because he's about to get released. But
Yeah,
honestly, I love what the Jets are doing defensively. They also got a guy we'll talk about later when we get to safeties. But I like what the Jets are doing. I like Aaron Glenn. I think,
now you said they might try to model after Detroit. I think the better model for the Jets is Philadelphia because Hurts runs a lot.
They don't have
They don't
that
rely
kind
on
of
him to be a pass-heavy quarterback. You know, so that's the type of thing. I don't know if they have the personnel to be that yet. They have to build up their line a little bit more, I think.
My thing is A.J. Brown, and we'll go one for one. A.J. Brown is a way better wide receiver than Garrett Wilson, who I'm a fan of. Right? Garrett
Like
Wilson
I said, they don't have the personnel, but that's the model they're closer to with Justin Fields.
Yeah, he might fit that.
And you have Barkley almost go for 2K. You know what I'm saying? Like Barkley was wowing.
What you call their running back is really good. I like their running back. The Jets just didn't use them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Breece Hall.
Yeah, the offensive coordinators were terrible using him.
Yeah.
They'd go games where they'd run the ball 5 times. How do you run the ball 5 times when you have him?
Was that the offensive coordinator or was that Aaron Rodgers?
Probably a combination of two.
Isn't that the same? That was the same for the Jets, you know.
So I'm gonna list you. Well, actually, all right. I don't think you guys give a shit. But Daniel Jones signs a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Indianapolis Colts.
That's Pete's guy.
Yep.
Good luck.
That's your boy.
Yep. And that sort of messed up the Giants in one way. Because right now the Giants the only two quarterbacks. No, he wasn't going to the Giants. The only 2 quarterbacks the Giants are sort of looking at, I think now, were Rodgers and Wilson.
Wilson's a free agent, though.
Yeah, both Rodgers and Wilson are going to be free agents. Rodgers, technically right now he still belongs to the Jets, but they're going to.
Rodgers is being talked about going to Pittsburgh. Rodgers is being talked about going to Pittsburgh.
Listen, if I'm Rodgers, I go to either Pittsburgh or Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, those are
the 2 teams I would go to if I'm Rodgers.
My thing is,
right? If he follows the Brett Favre model, he'll go to the Vikings.
That's what I was.
Yeah, he's just following Brett Favre.
Right, and the crazy part is Brett Favre treated him like shit. So why are you following in this man's footsteps?
It's funny, yeah.
But those are the 2 teams. If I'm Rodgers, I look at. I wouldn't go to the Giants unless that was my only option for for Rodgers.
So, as Giants fans, let's just say Aaron Rodgers, because I really think he's going either to one of those teams. I agree. So right now you're looking at Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, Jacoby Brissett, and Marcus Mariota.
Brissett just signed.
Who? Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah. I forget who he just signed somebody.
All right. So I didn't see the sign. Okay, so
I'm looking at either.
As a Giants fan, what do you want? Do you want Wilson, Winston, or Mariota?
I don't want Mariota. I'd go Wilson or Winston.
Well, if you're gonna draft a quarterback, you're better off going with Wilson because at least he can somewhat mentor. Because Winston ain't gonna mentor nobody. He's a bum. At least Wilson's got some pedigree to him. So, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, right now Wilson's more of a bridge quarterback. His best days are behind him. I don't know if he'll want to go to New York, but like you said, if his
he might not have much of a choice.
I was gonna say his options are very small. They're starting to dwindle. So
well, that's why I said with Jones going to Indianapolis, it left Minnesota and the Steelers looking for a quarterback.
Yeah, and
Rodgers and Wilson could look at those two places, where whichever one Rodgers chooses to go to, Wilson could look at going to the other.
Yeah, I don't know if the Steelers want to bring him back either. So that's another.
They were choosing, from the reports I heard, they were choosing Fields over Wilson.
I know
they wanted Fields to come back. But
I heard that and I read that. But my thing is, how much will you really invest into Fields if you started Wilson over Fields when Fields was winning?
I know, that was a little weird.
My other thing is, I don't know how good that was, because if he signed with the Jets for 20 per, that means they weren't offering more.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
So they were offering a lot less than what the Jets were offering, or at least less. And so I don't know how true they really wanted Fields back, but
we'll shift our attention to the running backs. Aaron Jones re-signs for 2 years, $20 million. I don't really give a shit when people re-sign. Najee Harris signs with the Chargers, 1 year up to $9.25 million. What y'all think about? You don't like Najee going to the Chargers?
He's not the same player he was in. I mean, it's good for the Chargers, I guess, but they need something more than him. That's not.
Yeah, he's a good running back. He's not a top running back, but he's a good running back. I think it was a good deal for the Chargers. And I think it's good for Harris too. I think the Chargers have enough weapons that, it's not all on him.
Yeah, it could be a change of pace back for them.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good for both of them, but I don't think it's anything
special,
huge.
Other running back that signs, Javonte Williams signs with the Dallas Cowboys, 1 year, $3 million. It's not hard to start right now over there.
Yeah, well, the thing is, they got a good line, so you could put anybody over there. They're gonna get. It's just it falls upon what is Dak gonna do. There's a lot of questions in Dallas right now, so they're talking about trading.
I still think they want to draft Gentry. I think they want Gentry.
He might fall. I don't know. What pick does Dallas have?
Like 11, I think.
Yeah, something like that. I was gonna say around 12, but maybe.
I don't know if he'll fall that. He might. But it depends on who drafts that. What the needs are up front.
There's a lot of defensive linemen that's supposed to go early.
Well, I think they're gonna.
Supposed to go early.
Dallas likes to go offensive linemen, and and what's his name just retired for them.
Yeah.
So I think, and I think they could look at an offensive lineman in the first round. They're very good with that. They always pick the right guys, teach them right.
Exactly.
All right. So go to wide receivers. Chris Godwin re-signs Tampa Bay, 3 years, $66 million. Cooper and Diggs are still free agents. Devontae Adams signs with the Rams, 2 years, $46 million. What y'all got on Devontae going over there?
It's a good pickup for them.
It's a good pickup to replace Kupp and all like that. I think it's a good one. Smart move by the Rams.
Yeah, he's still a target, a weapon in the red zone.
Is Devontae still Devontae?
No, not this. He's not, but he's still in the red zone. He is. He's not,
Green Bay Devontae, but he's still a very good receiver. So now that
in the red zone.
He doesn't have to be the number one there.
Yeah.
They
got a lot of weapons.
They have enough other threats that he'll look like Devontae.
Yeah. Because he can be that third receiver and they're not going to be able to match up.
Yeah.
All right. So DeAndre Hopkins, a free agent. Marquise Brown re-signed with Kansas City. Darius Slayton re-signed with the Giants. Now this one killed him. He gets a 3 year, $36 million.
Yeah, the Giants are just retarded. They don't know what they're doing. They have no clue what they're doing.
They didn't want to pay Barkley, but they gave this bum the bag.
And it would be about the same amount of money if they signed Barkley then.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
That's where I'm at. Like,
well, the only thing is
now Barkley wouldn't have done what he did last year with Philadelphia with the Giants.
Exactly. We had no line, no
offensive line.
You know, he wouldn't have looked even close to that. He would have looked like he was, like he always did with the Giants. Good running back and everything like that, could do everything, put up some good numbers, but he wouldn't have been last year's Barkley with the Giants.
Yeah, no way.
No, I mean, and I get that, but the fact that you're paying this guy the money you could have paid Barkley,
yeah,
like this is why I think
Joe Shane years. They've made these mistakes.
I know, but I'm saying like Joe Shane's horrible.
They're signing Slayton, for that much. I don't understand it.
I don't understand any of the stupid moves they made. They're getting all these second-tier has-beens that are role players.
He's a 3 receiver at best.
Yeah, he's not even that. Nah, he's okay, but he's not. No, he's.
That's what I mean. He's okay. He's a 3 receiver at best.
So Keenan Allen's still a free agent. Deontay Johnson's a free agent. Mike Williams still a free agent. The Buffalo Bills signed Joshua Palmer, 3 years, $36 million. They finally give Josh Allen the speedster he's never had because this guy could fucking fly, and he's a crisp route runner.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can catch the ball.
Well, he didn't have drop problems in the Chargers, right?
That was in San Diego. Buffalo's a different beast. It gets cold in Buffalo.
You gotta be able to play in the cold,
It's windy in Buffalo. I don't know. Hey, listen, we'll see, but it definitely ain't San Diego.
I mean, listen, Josh got the bag. He got that $250-something million guaranteed, $330. They're obviously trying to give him some weapons. I mean, listen, the guy's earned it, right? Like, Josh Allen's earned his money, even though they had him for like 3-4 more years. You didn't have to give him another big deal, which I don't get.
Well, I guess because they see that window closing.
Now, this is my only gripe with any of this, and it's not just really with Josh Allen. These guys, these quarterbacks that take these huge things, salaries, don't complain when your team can't sign somebody.
Yep.
This is what me and Coach Dave said. If you're all about winning, you don't take the max.
Right. That's why I laughed that's why I laughed with Myles Garrett. I want to go to a winner. We'll pay you. Okay, I'll stay.
Yeah, he's another.
No, you didn't want to win. You're not winning in Cleveland.
He's and I think it was holding out.
Yeah, I think it was a stupid move by Cleveland. I would have traded Garrett.
Yep, absolutely. They could have gotten a king's ransom for him.
Yep, you'd have made a nice deal. Restock your draft well, and then you can turn it around maybe.
Yeah, because they screwed themselves with the Watson deal. Now you'd think they would have learned from that.
Yep.
But nope. That's why Cleveland don't win.
Yeah.
I'm not a Browns fan, so I don't care.
So Elijah Moore, free agent. MVS still a free agent. Brandon Cook still a free agent. Nick Westbrook, I can never say this guy's name. Ikine or whatever. He signs with the Miami Dolphins. Not a big deal. Noah Brown, the guy from the Jaguars could care less. I'm just looking. These are all bums. Mac Hollins. Bro, Mac Hollins, like if I went on Twitter, Bills fans are crying. Patriots fans are acting like they just signed fucking Randy Moss. And I'm like, yo, it's fucking Mac Hollins. Like, Josh Allen made this guy somewhat relevant. He don't wear shoes, so the media talked about this guy not wearing shoes. And somehow, this makes him fucking a superstar. Bro, I don't get it with Mac Hollins. He's a fucking special teams guy and a fucking once in a blue you slide him in. If Buffalo's wide receiver core wasn't so bad, he would never have seen the field.
That's true. Yeah. I agree with all of that.
Whoa. I get an agreement for once.
Well, for once you said something intelligent.
All right. We'll go to Pete's favorite position, the tight end. Juwan Johnson resigns 3 years, $30 million. I like Juwan Johnson. I don't know who their quarterback is in New Orleans because Carr's on some wild shit. Yeah. Mike Gesicki, which is a really good signing. He goes back to the Bengals. Zach Ertz, he goes back to Washington.
Washington, yeah.
Damn, no one. Evan Ingram got released. Could care less. Do y'all care about offensive linemen to talk about?
There is
Not
no
really. I mean, they're
Okay,
important,
because to me,
but the best way to know an offensive lineman is not know his name. If you know his name half the times, it's because he sucks.
Yeah. Well, listen, the only one that
that's
won
what
that
I try to tell people. Nobody
Yep.
wants to see their team draft offensive linemen, but you need them. And if
Yeah.
anyone's talking about them, it's either one, they're fucking super dope, or they're getting lit up and they're trash.
There's no in between. If you're that middle round guy, you don't know them. You know, there could be a solid offensive lineman, and that's what you want, a solid guy. You don't know his name. But if you know his name, like you said, you're either an all-star or you suck.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The only offensive lineman that was going were the Redskins, and they got the best one via trade. So,
well, Chicago
Chicago
made some good deals too for an offensive lineman.
yeah, all moves the Giants could have made but didn't.
Yep. Yeah, I like what Chicago and Washington have done so far.
Yeah, they've definitely improved and built their teams. They're going to be dangerous.
The three teams that I've loved in free agency so far is the Patriots, Chicago, and Washington. And I think Washington did fucking the best of the three.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on a second. I thought in Dono we trust. You didn't put Seattle in there.
Done much of free agency. Well, no, I'm just saying Seattle hasn't done as much.
The way you were talking earlier, it was like they made the biggest deal.
He's the big ticket.
He had to get punched out.
So Drew Dalman signs with the Chicago Bears, 3-year, $42 million. I like this. I think he's a big boy defensive tackle. I'm just saying. I mean, that's offensive lineman. Sorry. That's the guy that I like.
I was going to say, isn't he the center? The center, right?
Yeah, that's the guy I like for Chicago.
Yeah.
You know who I thought would have been taken already? Mekhi Becton, and he hasn't been drafted, signed yet.
It's one of those things where is he what he was for the 4 years with the Jets or the 1 year with Philadelphia? So
he's still young.
Oh yeah, someone's going to sign him, but I don't know how high everybody thinks of him yet. You know, because Philadelphia has a great offensive line. Yeah. So you put somebody in there and you're like, was he a product of the offense of Philadelphia's offensive line, or did he improve that much? So you got to try and figure that out.
So all right, your Giants. Let's just say, because I'm like in Seattle right now, and you guys are Giants fans. Both of our offensive lines are straight trash. Now that we're going into day 3, because today's day 2, 7:34 p.m. on Tuesday. If you're looking at this as a Giant of Seattle, and you can go into day 3 because he's not signed, his value every day free agency goes by, the money drops a little bit.
Definitely.
Would you not take that gamble on a 1-year flyer and say, look, we'll get Mekhi Becton at 1 year XYZ and see what he does? If he hits it out the park, you got to pay him.
I would. I mean, I'd sign him if the price is right. I said all along, and I think the same thing with Evan Neal for the Giants. He was a guard. I said that about Becton before. Yeah. He shouldn't have been a tackle. They're too big. They don't have the movement. They can't react to the faster guys.
Yeah, right. I think they're
so when they're guards, they're better. And I think that's the same thing for Evan Neal with the Giants. Not that I think he'll be a great guard either yet, but I think he'd be better off as a guard instead of a tackle.
Yeah, they talked about moving him to guard too, putting him back there.
Yeah, and that's what the move was with Philadelphia when he was with the Jets, and they talked about moving him into guard, he kept saying, "No, I'm a tackle. I'm a tackle."
Mm-hmm.
So when he was
Well, that's 'cause
released, and
that's
he
where
had
the
to
money
sign
is.
something with, of course. But when he was released,
Yeah.
the only shot he had was with Philadelphia as a guard. So
And he you know, he did his thing. We'll see what happens. Khalil Mack re-signs with the Chargers, 1 year, $18 million. I like that. Josh Sweat. Now this is a big one. Josh Sweat signs with Arizona, 4 years, $76.4 million.
Yeah, but I don't know why he went to Arizona though. I guess for the bag.
He won a Super Bowl already. Now get the bag.
Yeah, no, I was saying he went for
yeah,
the
he's
bag.
going for the money.
He ain't gonna win there, but he got paid.
No, but like you said, he's already won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
So
lucky
go
him,
for the
he's
money now.
a good team. I mean, listen, you might as well get the money when you can. You're only gonna have that one chance to make money.
Arizona's not that bad of a team. Arizona's not a bad team.
Nah, but they're not run well. They're not managed well. There's a lot of drama behind the scenes.
They're a playoff contender, not a Super Bowl contender.
Right.
Yeah.
It all lingers on the quarterback, though. What are they going to do with Murray, too?
Yeah.
They're
Talking about trading Murray.
Yeah, there's rumors of him coming to the Giants. I don't know why they'd even consider that, but
have they said a value of what draft pick?
Well, right now, no, I haven't heard what they were talking about trading for him. But right now, the only quarterback the Giants have is Danny DeVito.
I know, ridiculous. Another
Tommy DeVito.
Tommy DeVito. I always say Danny DeVito. Tommy DeVito.
Well, he is the Penguin.
If Danny DeVito is your quarterback, it's bad.
Well,
listen, it's not much better with Tommy DeVito.
That's Ed's boy.
Yeah. Mister, the best thing that happened to the Giants was his mother's recipe. That shit.
Yeah.
Yo, like, so Hassan Reddick signs with Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 1 year, $14 million. Never wanted to be a Jet. Did what he had to do, boogied, and now he's in Tampa. I actually like this because I think Tampa has a very good team.
Yeah, I think it's good for both of them. He gets to try to build himself up again on a 1 year contract.
Yep, to try and make more money. Yep.
Yeah, to try to get a better contract next year. So I think it's a good contract for both.
We actually like this deal.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's a good move.
Okay.
He said two things intelligent.
Hey, I'm going for the hat trick at some point. So you have Deo Adeyingbo. He signs with Chicago Bears, 3 years, $48 million. I like Chicago's defense, right? Outside of a few bonehead plays they've had this year. But, I mean, it is what it is. Because you had, what's his name? I think his name was Stevenson or whatever, who was talking shit to the crowd. And then he tipped the ball up against Washington. Yo, craziest thing ever is both of those teams were in the middle of the pack. After that play, Chicago tanked and Washington goes on a fucking run.
Yep. It's funny how football does. Karma, man. Karma.
No, this is a big deal. I like what they're doing. They also have what's the other guy? The defensive end they took from Washington.
Jonathan Allen.
Yeah.
So I like what they're doing. My only worry is Caleb. I don't believe in Caleb, and you go as far as the quarterback does.
I'm not sold on Caleb, but we'll know this year.
Yeah, I think this is a make or break for him.
Yeah.
So
I think this is the year that you're going to see if he was, is a good quarterback or not. Because, like I said, they built up the offensive line. I love what they've done so far. They brought in a good coach for him. So
yeah, he's got all the opportunities to see.
This is the year that you can show you should have been drafted number one.
True. Chase Young goes back to the Saints. 3 years, $51 million. That franchise just seems to be upside down.
I don't know. He just
Chauncey Golston. Yeah, Chauncey Golston, 3-year deal. He signs with your New York Giants, $19.5 million.
Another fucking.
You're shaking your head. All right, Listen,
They signed the
every
best
move
it has
can't be
been.
stupid.
Hey, listen, then talk to Pete about the signs because they suck in my eyes. They're a bunch of shit.
I like it because
Talk to me.
I like it for the reason that I always liked how the Giants, when the Giants were in the Super Bowl and everything, it wasn't that just the starters, it was that they were able to rotate in top-notch guys on the ends.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it helps with Golston.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know, now you'll have Thibodeau, you'll have Burns, you'll have, Golston and all like that. So I think, as you're rotating those guys in.
You can rotate them all you want. If they can't get sacks, it don't mean shit.
I think it's better than Ojulari. Ojulari, I think he's a free agent now still.
All right. So we'll swing over to Buffalo. They signed Michael Hoyt, or Hawk, whatever his name is. 3 years up to $24 million. I actually like this dude because he played linebacker and lineman on the Rams. He comes over. So, I think it's a good deal for Buffalo. A lot of people feel that he's not that guy, but I think he's a good player.
I think he's good because with Buffalo, he doesn't have to be that guy.
Yeah, you can just fit in.
Yeah.
He's a good guy on a good team. But if he was on a bad team, he wouldn't be that guy.
Yeah, he's not a game changer, but he'll help you.
I think he's a good, solid player and all like that. And like I said, Buffalo has a good defense and everything. Do you think they bring him back? Defense. Do you think they bring him back, Miller?
Hell no.
Hell no. Vaughn, listen. Prior to the injury, and let's just be honest. Prior to the injury, Vaughn was going ham for Buffalo.
He was.
Took the injury, and he's too old. That you're just not going to recover from that knee injury. He doesn't have that step no more. He's washed. It's no disrespect. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's won 2 Super Bowls. Do what you do. Go back to Denver on a team-friendly deal. Retire where it started, and that's where I'm at with Vaughn.
So you wouldn't bring him back on the cheap as a pure pass rushing, third down, long specialist?
No, they tried that last year.
Because you got A.J. Epineza for that.
Yeah, but like I said, I think you can on third and long, and like I said, on the cheap. Don't get me wrong. I'm not paying him anything really. On the cheap, bring him in because on those long things, the more pass rushes you have, the better.
If I could get Vaughn as a mentor, I'd do it. But I don't really want to put him on the field. I want to keep him techniquing with the young guys because I think Vaughn is a very smart player. But unless it's third and 90, if it's third and 95, he'll go.
It would be more as a mentor. I think in the game, every game, he'd get in maybe like 5 to 10 plays at the most. Like I said, third and long as a rushing specialist. I might take a flyer on him.
I don't know.
With Buffalo, like I said, with Buffalo. Has to be on a good team.
No. He ain't taking a Giants ain't going nowhere.
You want him on the cheap? He
wouldn't be good for the Giants. He wouldn't be good for the Giants.
He'd be your mentor. He'd be your mentor cheap.
Like I said, I think he'd be good for Buffalo. I can see them bring him back.
I'm gonna say this with no disrespect, fuck Von Miller. This is another big splash. This is where I love what I'm seeing out of New England. They get Milton Williams, 4 years, $104 million. They're all in on Drake May. Their defense is legit. I like what they're doing. They need more weapons to put around Drake May, though. They got to get a legit running back, and they got to get him some targets. But this guy's going to eat up offensive line.
Yeah, they got to get him more weapons. Definitely.
I don't know. They'll probably try to do it through the draft, I guess, because I don't know if they're gonna make a trade for any of it, or maybe they take a flyer on Cup. I don't know. I mean, he's not the same player he
But
was.
you don't think this is huge? Milton Williams going to New England?
Oh yeah, no, that's a very good signing for New England.
They always
You know?
find the right guys to pick. It's the Giants that can't do it.
Now, like I said, I think a lot of people are going to sleep on New England because Drake May's still young. But that division outside, listen, Buffalo's going to be great because of Josh Allen. New England is a well-built, put team together so far. And the Jets, depending on how we see Aaron Glenn, I think it's going to be in that order, whoever, and Miami's on the outside looking in at everybody.
But Miami
else.
just signed Zach Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Listen, watch your back, Tua. You know,
Can't
listen,
believe that guy's
Tua's
still
a moron. Tua's a moron. Like, I've never seen a guy not protect himself who has more problems than anything else than Tua. You know, great guy. Everybody speaks really highly of him, but you're an idiot. Jonathan Allen signs with the Minnesota Vikings, 3 years, $60 million. He ultimately says he doesn't want to be in the nation's capital no more, and he wants to go to where it's super cold, where you can't work outside in the winter. So talk to me, Jonathan Allen, Minnesota Vikings, without a quarterback so far.
He should have stayed in Washington and had a better chance of winning, but because now I guess Minnesota's going with McCarthy. Obviously, that's
they like I said, if they sign Rodgers,
I mean,
he could be there for that, for that 1 year with them. They'd be in contention.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to be with McCarthy, but if they sign Rodgers, I can see that, that working for a year.
I think that would be their best bet because I don't think McCarthy's going to be fully recovered from that injury anyway. It usually takes about a year and a half.
Right.
So it'd be better.
And he's never played yet.
Right. That's right.
So you don't know really what you're going to have.
Absolutely.
So they have to go for a good veteran.
I agree.
That's why they let Darnold go. But they'll go after Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, right? Like fucking bum-ass Aaron Rodgers. So B.J. Hill signs with the Cincinnati Bengals. He gets a 3-year, $33 million deal. My worry for the Cincinnati Bengals is you just franchise tag Higgins, right? So you're like, all right, he's got a crazy bag. Then Jamar Chase, he's already said he wants to break the bank. He wants to be the highest paid wide receiver, and he's going to get it. How are you going to pay anyone else if you're going to have to pay? You have to pay a quarterback. You have to pay 2 wide receivers. There's no money for nothing else. And
Cincinnati will sit right where they do each year right now. Yeah, a good team and everything like that, but they're not going to win anything because their defense is terrible. They can't, they can't get a good offensive line going.
I think Burrow would take less money, but it's still not going to help them because
right. If you're paying Higgins and Chance that much money,
they're going to be in mediocrity. That's it.
Yep, they're going to be that good team. Burrow's going to go down as one of those great quarterbacks that never won anything, even though he got there once, but he'll go down as one of those great quarterbacks.
Yep. So Grady Jarrett, he signs with Chicago Bears, 3 years, $43 million. The Bears, I'm telling you, are stock in that defensive line.
Yeah. I said, I love what the Bears are doing this offseason. I think the Bears have been by far the best. I love the coaching hire they did.
Washington?
Yeah, they're right there. But yep,
I like what I love, don't get me wrong, I love what Washington's doing. I just think Chicago has been better because also the coaching hire is in on that thing. I love what Washington's doing. Washington has definitely improved themselves a lot.
Yeah, they're scary. Especially if that kid comes back and has another great season. Let's see if he does it.
Mhm.
Sometimes that sophomore season, we'll see. But if he comes back lights out again,
Yep.
he's going to be a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
They-
definitely.
and
Yeah.
I think Philly has gone a little backwards, and I think Washington went a little forward. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Jerran Reed, he signs with the Super Bowl contending Seattle Seahawks, 3 years, $25 million.
I love typos on your thing, huh?
But no, this is a good signing. I like Jerran Reed.
Yeah, he's good.
Listen, the only thing they're contending for is some more fish in the bay. That's about it.
Wow, we got
There'll
some
be
fucking hate.
a playoff contender. There'll be a playoff contender. They're not going to be a Super Bowl contender.
Listen, they'll be a
Of
contender
course
for a
they are.
couple of
Sam
weeks and then
Darnold's
come
there.
back to reality. They stink.
We're going
They're
to
just
see.
better than-
Me and you, listen, we're going to have this conversation. So,
We will.
Poona Ford goes to the Rams, 3 years, $30 million. I like Poona Ford. He didn't get a fair shake in Buffalo. He kind of was a depth guy. He was good in Seattle. I think he'll do well in the Rams because the Rams seem to always put people in position. Could care less. There's a lot of bullshit little signings. Yeah. Oh, Ernest Jones. He re-signs 3 years, $33 million with In Darnold We Trust, Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, I don't
Good
care.
luck.
Gotcha. Enough said. Right?
Listen, I think.
I know what it is. I'm not going to fucking.
I think if Seattle could petition the league to cut the season down to 15 games but keep it quiet, Darnold would be perfect.
Listen, he just got to date like Taylor Swift or something, and they'll get to the Super Bowl. So we'll jump to cornerbacks. DJ Reed says, "Fuck the New Jersey Jets. I'm taking my talent to Detroit. They just got a whole lot more dangerous because DJ Reed is a fucking baller."
Yeah, I like DJ Reed. He was good with the Jets. A lot of people thought he was the better cornerback.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I like him. You look like you don't give a shit about DJ Reed.
Who?
Look at him. Look.
I don't care about corners.
A lot of people thought he was the better cornerback than Sauce.
I'm not big
Sauce
on
got the press, but DJ was the better cornerback.
Fair enough. Charvarius Ward. I always fuck that guy's name up. He signs with the Colts, 3 years, $60 million. How y'all feel about that? I don't really. The Colts, they're just not.
Yeah, they're just the Colts. I don't think Yeah, they're there.
Right?
That's about
it. Yeah. Byron Murphy, he stays with the Vikings, 3 years, $66 million. We don't know who their quarterback is because this guy's, whatever. Carlton Davis, he signs with the Patriots, 3 years, $60 million. And this is what I'm talking about. The Patriots are making moves out here, and they're making
Patriots are doing really, yes. Patriots are doing well. They just got to get weapons really for May.
Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing they're going to have to try to do. I'm assuming they're going to try to do it through the draft, or maybe they trade for somebody. Who knows?
And it's possible they go heavy, with skill players in the draft.
I mean, you got guys like Keenan Allen. You got guys like Keenan Allen that can still help them. Amari Cooper, right? Like, there's still a bunch of wide receivers that are out there.
Now, Keenan Allen, isn't he coming off a leg injury?
He's coming off an injury.
He played the full year.
He got hurt
at the end of the year?
Yeah. I think
he's coming off. If I'm not wrong, I could be wrong on that. I'm not positive. I thought he got hurt. I thought he hurt his leg at the end of the year last year.
Oh, I don't remember.
Like I said, I could be wrong on that. I could be wrong on that.
So you got Nate Hobbs signs 4 years, $48 million, Green Bay. I like that. Your guy signed Paulson Adabo, 3 years, $54 million. Before the injury, this guy was dope. After the injury, not so much. So you just gave this guy 3 years, $54 million.
The way the Giants are right now, they have to overpay to get people to come. That's one.
And they're getting no stars.
And you hope that, it takes a little, some of these guys take an extra year or so to recover from injuries.
Yeah,
that's what some of them, like, that's what they're hoping with Rogers. Was last year, he played better at the end of the year because he was still recovering from the leg injury. Saquon did that with the Giants. When he got injured, it took him more than a year to get fully recovered. You're playing, but you still don't have the speed and the cuts and all like that. So that's my only hope with this.
Brandon Stevens. Yeah, facts. Brandon Stevens signs with the New York Jets, 3 years, 36. So I guess he's the replacement to DJ Reed. I'm not much of a fan of this guy because he's not. I like Reed way better, right? Like I'm not shitting on this dude, but if you're trying to plug the next person in, I don't think this was the guy. He got a good bag, and once again, when you talk the Jets, you gotta realize that Sauce wants to be the highest paid cornerback in the league. I'm not sure if he'll get that, but he's holding his hat to that.
Yeah.
All these other dudes,
What was that?
Oh, no, I thought you said something.
Well,
now it's the Jets. There's not much to say.
So the only reason why I'm going to bring this guy's name up, because I never heard of him, but he's on my list. Michael Jackson re-signed with the Carolina Panthers 2 years, $14.5 million. Do any of you guys know who Michael Jackson is that's not Michael Jackson?
What position?
Corner.
Nope,
he definitely
don't know.
isn't nobody.
There you go. Me neither. Last but not least, we'll go safeties. And this is what I was really curious to see if you guys were excited. I think Sleepy's going to be excited about this one. Javon Holland signs a 3 years, $45 million. I got to smile. So you're excited about this one.
No. I'm not excited with
fuck out of here.
Listen, all the moves the Giants have made are mediocre at best. They've done nothing to fix that team. Okay?
Holland's good. I like the signing. But Holland's good. I like the signing. But it's going back to what we were talking about with Slayton and Barkley. If you were going to do this for Holland, you should have just paid McKinney last year.
Yeah. Who was definitely better.
I like Holland more than McKinney.
No, I like McKinney more than Holland.
He played better with the Giants.
Yeah, so like I said, I like Holland. I think it was a good signing. I just think it was stupid to let McKinney go. So, that's where I'm at. I like Holland. I think it was a good signing this year. You corrected a bad move last year.
Yeah, but the problem is you don't build your offensive line and defensive line. They're never going to win again in New York. Stop going for these goddamn flashy corners and all this stupid shit. Because when the Giants won, it's because they either had a dominating linebacking core like they had in the 80s or the defensive line in the 90s. Their corners were never that good. Marty Collins, all those guys. Nobody was that good. Mark Collins. Yeah.
The Giants had a cornerback whose nickname was Toast. If your name is Toast as a cornerback, you know you're in the wrong position.
Yeah, that's hilarious. The only corner I liked for the Giants, but his career got killed when he started doing kick return, was Jason Sehorn. That's it.
Yeah. When they put him on the returns and he hurt his leg, that killed his career.
That's such a shame, man.
But, I think the Giants have to.
Okay.
What's that? I think the Giants got to build up their line. I think the offensive line has to be built up.
I just don't know how to make this guy happy. Pause. Right? Like anything I thought he'd like from the Giants, he's fucking burying.
So not burying. I'm just saying. I'm not a fan of defensive backs and safety.
See, this is why Dave and I are good to be on here, because he's the pessimistic, I'm the optimistic.
There you go. Good luck with that.
Okay. So Cameron Bynum signs with the Colts. Don't know how to say that guy's name. Signs with Denver. Justin Reed goes New Orleans. Jeremy Chin, who I do like Jeremy Chin, he signs with the Raiders. Elijah Moore goes to the Chargers. Andre Sisco. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, because Buffalo had interest in Andre Sisco, and one of our podcast people that come on here, Sean, oh no, Sisco's the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars. No way are we trading him for nothing. Well, you didn't trade him. You got nothing, and he signed with the New York Jets.
They're another lost franchise, so neither franchise has made any good moves.
But you don't like the move? I think, listen, that secondary is legit.
For who?
The Jets.
Yeah, Jets have a good defense. Their thing is what are they going to do on offense?
And you got to see how the coaches do.
Yeah, let's see what Glenn does.
Right now, Glenn, he's talking a great game. I like everything I've heard and everything, but you never know.
Agreed.
Everybody swore it was going to be the same way when Salah came in. It was going to be the same way when Rex Ryan came in.
Yeah, but I bet you they're regretting letting Salah go, though, because you saw it was a big difference when he left.
It was a stupid move to do it at the time they did it. They should have done it before the season started. Everybody said that, first off.
Right.
But
listen, Aaron Rodgers is a cancer. He destroyed that culture, and he fucking ruined the Jets. If you want that bum on your team, congratulations.
See, I think it's going to be a little different. I think whoever he goes to, and I think it's going to be the Steelers, but whoever he goes to, he's got to come in humble now. When he came to the Jets,
he's got
the
too
Jets
much of an ego.
He does, and I agree with that, but he's still going to have to come in a little humble. First off, you're going to have Tom.
You know what I got? I got my hat trick. I got 3 agrees from Pete today. Booyah. Hat trick. I'm doing good. I'm just saying. Listen, I know this man my whole life, right?
I guess your broken clock is right 3 times a day.
I was going to say that's what he beat me to it because I was just going to say that.
Listen, all right. In a nutshell, with me jumping over to Seattle with Darnold we trust, right? You guys being Giants fans, all I have to do is make sure that my team has a better record than your guys.
Well, that's not hard.
Yeah. Seattle was better this year. Exactly. It's not like you're saying, well, Tennessee is going to be better because they signed Darnold. Seattle was a better team.
I mean, I can't help it. But they lost a lot of players and they released a lot.
Yeah, I agree there. I think they're going to take a step back. I don't think they're going to, I think they're going to be worse this year than they were last year.
Yep, I agree.
At worst, they're 10-6. At worst, 10-6.
No way.
Nah.
Nope. Definitely not.
It's 10-7. It's because the extra game. It'd be 10-7. My bad. At worst, 10-7. At best, 13-4. 13-4.
I think at best they're 9-8. At best. Yep. What do you think, Dave?
This is ludicrous.
I agree. 9-8 or worse.
Yeah, I said at best 9-8
or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, at best 9-8.
You're gonna see. He's not gonna have the weapons he had in Minnesota. He's not gonna have the line. He already shown what he does when he doesn't have a line, and we know what kind of quarterback he is to begin with.
So when he throws for 40 touchdowns and over 4,000 yards, what are we going to
Not
do?
hard in today's league.
Unless they improve their line, he's going to see ghosts, zombies, and Frankenstein.
It's going to be Halloween every weekend.
Oh,
There you go. The Legion of Boom is going to be the Legion of Doom.
You were asking before who Michael Jackson was? Well, he's going to be singing Thriller out on the field with Seahawks.
All right. So Sam Darnold will never get respect on here outside of me. Giant fan. All right. So listen, the next big thing we're going to talk is draft, right? So I know you guys are hyped, and we won't even. I'm already going to leave this. You don't got to answer it. We know you guys are excited about Shador coming to New Jersey, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Y'all going to have your quarterback. You're not going to trade up. It is what it is. Shador time is coming to the Giants. For myself, Pete, my man, Sleepy Coach David in the building. We out of here. Deuces.